In the ancient heartlands of West Africa, a story of movement, destiny, and survival was etched into the very landscape. It's a tale of a people who wandered, not aimlessly, but in search of a new beginning, a new home. This is the story of the Great Akan Migration. From the 11th century all the way to the 17th, a slow but steady exodus unfolded. Akan groups, including the now famous Baoulé and Ani peoples, began a monumental journey from their ancestral lands in what we now call Ghana, venturing westward into the lush, fertile realms of modern-day Côte d'Ivoire. They weren't just moving, they were fleeing the shadows of conflict and the specter of burgeoning empires. But what were the precise whispers, the powerful currents that drove them on this westward trek? What forces were so strong that they compelled entire communities to leave behind everything they knew? To understand their journey, we must first understand who the Akan are. The Akan are not a single, monolithic group, but a vibrant mosaic of Kwa-speaking peoples. Their oral traditions and archaeological evidence suggest their ancestors migrated from the north, possibly from the Sahel region, settling in the forested areas of Ghana in successive waves starting around the 11th century. Here, in the heart of the forest and atop rich gold deposits, they built sophisticated societies and powerful states. They were master goldsmiths, skilled farmers, and astute traders, creating a civilization that thrived for centuries. But even the most prosperous societies face challenges. The climate of West Africa is not always forgiving. Scholars suggest that prolonged periods of drought could have placed immense strain on their agricultural-based economies. When crops failed and rivers ran low, food became scarce, and communities that once lived in harmony might have found themselves in competition for dwindling resources. Imagine the difficult choice: stay and face potential starvation, or move towards the unknown in hopes of finding more forgiving lands. This environmental pressure was likely a powerful, persistent nudge westward. Beyond the whims of nature, human conflict played an even more dramatic role. As Akan states grew in size and influence, so did their rivalries. The quest for control over territory, trade routes, and the all-important gold mines often led to friction and outright warfare. Smaller, less powerful groups could easily find themselves caught in the crossfire between larger, expansionist neighbors. The choice was often to be absorbed and lose their autonomy, or to migrate and preserve their identity. This dynamic reached a fever pitch in the 17th century with the meteoric rise of one of the most formidable powers in West African history, the Asante Empire. Forged from a confederation of Akan states under the leadership of Osei Tutu the Frere and his legendary priest Okomfo Anokye, the Asante kingdom began a rapid and often brutal expansion. Its highly organized and disciplined army became an unstoppable force, demanding allegiance and tribute from all who stood in its path. For many Akan subgroups, this was the final, decisive push. The Baoulé, for instance, are said to have migrated westward in two distinct waves, directly fleeing the Asante's tightening grip. Their oral traditions are rich with stories of this flight, most famously, the legend of Queen Abla Poku. As the story goes, she led her people to the banks of the Kamoe River, which blocked their escape. To appease the river spirits and ensure safe passage, she made the ultimate sacrifice, offering her own son to the waters. After the sacrifice, hippopotamuses are said to have formed a bridge, allowing her people to cross. As they reached the other side, the queen lamented, Ba Uli, meaning, the child is dead, giving her people, the Baoulé, their name. While the historical accuracy of every detail is debated, the story powerfully captures the sense of desperation, loss, and defiant survival that defined their migration. Similarly, the Agni people, who had established powerful kingdoms like Indenye and Sanwi, also felt the pressure. Facing turmoil and conflict in the east, they too embarked on a journey, carving out new homes and kingdoms in the eastern and southeastern parts of present-day Côte d'Ivoire. They didn't arrive in an empty land. Their migration involved complex interactions with the pre-existing populations, sometimes through conflict, but often through diplomacy, trade, and intermarriage. They blended their customs with those of the local peoples, creating new hybrid cultures. These migrating groups didn't travel empty-handed. They carried with them the very essence of their civilization. They brought their sophisticated knowledge of gold working, their intricate political structures, and their deeply held spiritual beliefs. Crucially, they also carried their matrilineal social system, where lineage and inheritance are traced through the mother's line. This was a defining feature of Akan society, and it took root and flourished in their new homes in Côte d'Ivoire, shaping the social fabric of the kingdoms they founded. From the ashes of exile, they forged new destinies, building powerful and prosperous states like the Baoulé and Agni kingdoms that stand as a testament to their resilience. By the end of the 1600s, these epic journeys had fundamentally reshaped the cultural and political map of the region. They didn't just move borders, they created new ones, birthing the distinct Baoulé and Agni identities that are so central to Côte d'Ivoire today. Yet, amidst the stories of new beginnings, there are also whispers of what was left behind, of kinship ties broken by rivers and forests, and of a shared ancestry that now spanned two nations. So, when we look back at this great migration, what do we see? Was it a divine exile? A flight from the unyielding grasp of the Asante Empire? Was it a pragmatic response to environmental hardship? Or do the rich oral traditions, like the story of Queen Poku, hide deeper truths, ancient pacts and forgotten rivalries that spurred this monumental trek? The legacy of the Akan is written in the gold of Ivorian art and the matrilineal lines of its people, but the full story, the complete veil over their migration, remains tantalizingly drawn. In the footsteps of the Akan, what untold stories and rivalries still whisper across the borders of Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire? This history is not just in books, it lives in the memories and family stories passed down through generations. Do you have Akan roots? Does your family have a migration story? Share your ancestral echoes in the comments below. We'd love to hear how this great history connects to you personally. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you next time.